Hi everyone. Earlier in the semester, we talked about 3 examples of things to do when you're writing your final research papers that will totally enhance them, that will make them awesome. So what I want you to do this week, besides all the other things I've told you to do this week, this is the next thing. So it's like step 3 or 4, depending on if you did a cover page. Like step 1 was looking at all your evidence, organizing it, make sure it's organized in some way, right? Step 2 was to go through your paper and make sure all of the article titles are in quotes and all of the actual publications are italicized. Step 3 was make a cover page. If you want to make a cover page, for your paper 5, you can, but you have to for paper 6. Step 4 now is to actually add alliteration, sentence length, and parallelism to your papers. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So we talked about this way earlier in the semester. Like I hinted at it. I said, go ahead and try it. I think it was like paper 3 or something. So now what I want you to do, you have your papers, they're pretty good at this point, they should be. I want you to pull out a highlighter or a pen or something and read through it and decide what the most important parts of your papers are. So in your CSE section, what evidence just kind of like hits the reader in the gut? We read the gun control example for this video this week. And in that gun control example, I stopped in there and I'm like, ooh, that's a good piece of evidence. Like there was a moment I stopped and I'm like, that's a powerful piece, right? So I would highlight that if I was that writer. I would be like, that's a piece of evidence I really want to show off well. So go ahead and read your papers and highlight the areas that you think are outstanding, the areas you would like to show off more. It's like putting glitter on them. We're going to put prose glitter, right? Writing, structure, argumentation, glitter is what we're doing here. Okay, so after you go ahead and you highlight all that jazz, I want you to decide how you're going to glitter it in one of 3 ways. We already talked about these. I'll go over them quick. Way number 1 is alliteration. So alliteration is when something sounds very similar to in like the words are very similar to the other words, right? So Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Pa 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 pa. You hear a lot of that sound. Woodchuck, wood, wood. You hear a lot of the same consonants and syllables, right? So that's alliteration. It's when I'm slyly sneaking sounds into my presentation. So slyly sneaking sounds. The same sa. Your reader will pay attention more. So in all the things you highlighted, do you want to use alliteration? I'm asking you to revise where you highlighted. Revise it, even though it's really good. You're revising it by adding alliteration, parallelism, or sentence length to get your idea across more powerfully. Most students use sentence length, but if you want to use alliteration, you add the similar sounding sounds to that sentence or right before or after it. It'll make your reader unconsciously. I don't mean to say that. I meant subconsciously. It'll make your reader unconscious. It'll make your reader subconsciously pay attention to that section of what you're talking about. So you know what alliteration is. Let's look at some examples how incredibly famous writers have done this in their writing, and you can do this in academic research writing. In fact, academic research writers, professionals, often skip this step. They skip this step of highlighting the most important parts of their paper and then adding one of these 3 elements to it to really hammer home that this is really important subconsciously for their reader. But fiction writers tend to do this all the time with great success. So let's look at Emily Dickinson's, I love Emily Dickinson, such concise writing. The soul selects her own society. The soul selects her own society. Such a short sentence, a lot of alliteration there. From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes, probably the most famous sentence ever, right? The Great Gatsby. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Let's go down to the James Joyce, The Dead. His soul swooned slowly as he heard the snow falling faintly through the universe and faintly falling like the descent of their last end upon all living and the dead. Right? Do you see how impactful that is? That sound embedded, similar sounding sounds embedded into your writing. Now, for those highlights, you could do alliteration. The other thing you could do is sentence length. This is more common, easier to get at. So sentence length just has a long sentence, then a short sentence, because you're trying to jar your reader to seeing, to really recognizing something, a change. It's like when you have a fan on in the background, you don't recognize it's on until you turn it off. You're doing that to your reader subconsciously when you add one of these elements. So sentence length is very common, and you should use this in those sections you want to highlight. Let's look at an example of another fiction author, the Joy Luck Club. Right here, I'm going to read this sentence, and she just plays with the sentence length. That night, I sat on Tian Yu's bed and waited for him to touch me. Oh, but he didn't. I was relieved. Wow, I didn't mean to read such a scandalous example. But do you see how sentence length really plays a lot into paying more attention? The final one I want to talk about is parallelism. You've seen probably one of the most famous speeches in all the world is Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. Parallelism, I have a dream, not one day. I have a dream, I have a dream. He embedded that phraseology throughout the speech, and it created a remembering, right? Your readers remember it, that subconscious thing. So parallelism happens when you make lists more often, and you're using a list with an ing at the end, like I was falling, skiing, and jumping all at the same time. I wouldn't say I was falling, skiing, and played all at the same time, because that wouldn't be parallel. That wouldn't be an agreement. So let's look at an example of how you can add parallelism to sections you want your reader to enjoy more, notice more. The coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep, that they should not eat too much, and to do some warm-ups exercises before the game. That's not parallel. That they should, and to do. This would be parallel. The coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep, that they should not eat too much, and that they should do some warm-up exercises before the game. That's parallel. Or the coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep, not eat too much, and do some warm-up exercises before the game. That's also parallel. Here's another example of parallel structure. I won't read it out loud. You can pause this video if you would like to read it. Now, my challenge to you in those sections you highlighted is to do these things. You learned about them before. You practiced them a little bit earlier weeks. Actually do them now.